Hi guys, welcome back to my read along channel. This is the Bed and Breakfast Star by Jacqueline Wilson. All Jacqueline Wilson's own work, just reading it for entertainment and pleasure. So we'll try and do the next chapter, and if we get time, maybe the second, but I've got a feeling that it'll be just one today again. So without further ado, let's get going. This chapter is called Sugar Sandwiches for Breakfast. We've always had a different breakfast. Mum's never really bothered. She just likes a cup of coffee and a ciggy. She says she can't fancy food early in the morning. She cooks for Mac though. He likes great greasy bacon sandwiches and a cup of strong tea with 4 sugars. I'd like 4 sugars in my tea, but Mum won't let me. It's not fair. She does sometimes let me have sugar sandwich for my breakfast though, if she's in a very good mood. I say she needs to eat a sugar sandwich to sweeten herself up. Pippa likes sugar sandwiches too, because she's always copies me. Hank has a runny boiled egg that certainly runs all over him. His face is bright yellow by the time he's finished his breakfast, and he always insists on clutching his buttered toast soldiers until he's squeezed them into a soggy pulp. Sometimes I can see why Mum can't face food herself. Mopping up my baby brother would put anyone off their breakfast. Mum certainly didn't look like she wanted any breakfast our first morning at the Royal. She'd obviously tossed and turned a lot in the night because her hair was all sticking up at the back. Her eyes looked red and sore. I'd heard her crying in the night. "How about you taking the kids down to breakfast, Matt?" she said pleadingly. "I don't think I could face it today. I'm feeling ever so queasy." "Oh, come on, Hen. I can't cope with all 3 of them on my own. I'm not Mary Piddly Poppins." "You don't have to cope with me," I said indignantly. "I sometimes wish to God I didn't," Matt growled. "And he's always like that with me, ready to bite my head off. He's the one who's like a lion, not me. I wish I could figure out some way of taming him. I'll feed Hank on for you, Mum, and see that Pippa has a proper breakfast," I promised kindly. "Your Mum's going to have a proper breakfast herself," said Mac. "That's what she needs to make her feel better, a good cooked breakfast. And if we're getting it part of this lousy bed and breakfast deal, then we ought to make sure we all eat every last mouthful." "All right, I'm coming," said Mum, slapping a bit of makeup on her pale face and fiddling with her hair. She took out her mirror from her handbag and winced. "I look right sight," she wailed. "You look fine to me," said Matt, giving her a powdered cheek a kiss. "And you'll look even better once you've got a fried egg and a few rashers of bacon inside you." "Don't, Mac. You're going to make me throw up," said Mum. "I'd throw up if Mac started slobbering at me like that." We trailed down all the stairs to the ground floor, where this breakfast room was supposed to be. Max started sniffing, his hairy nostrils all a-quiver. "Can't smell any bacon sizzling," he said. We soon found out why. There wasn't any bacon for breakfast. There wasn't very much of anything, just pots of tea and bowls of cornflakes and slices of bread, and very white and very square, like the ceiling tiles in reception. "You just went and served yourself and sat at one of the tables." "No bacon," said Mac, and he stormed off to the reception desk. "Hank needs his egg," said Mum, and she marched off after Mac. Hank balanced on her hip. Pippa and I sighed and shrugged our shoulders. We staggered off after them. The big lady was behind the desk. She was wearing a fluffy blue jumper this time. I hoped that she'd painted her nails blue to match, but she hadn't. Still, Mac was certainly turning the air blue, shouting and swearing because there weren't any cooked breakfasts. "It's your duty to provide a proper breakfast." They sat down at the social. "I'm going to report you," Mac thundered. "We don't have any duty whatsoever, sir. If you don't care to stay at the Royal Hotel, then why don't you leave?" said the big lady. "You know very well we can't leave because we haven't got anywhere else to go, and it's a disgrace. My kids need a good breakfast. My baby boy needs his protein or he'll get ill," said Mum. She spoke as if Hank was on the point of starving right this minute, although she was sagging sideways trying to support her strapping great son. He was reaching longingly for this new blue bunny. The big lady stepped backwards away from his sticky clasp. "We're providing extra milk for all the children at this moment. We normally do provide a full cooked breakfast, but unfortunately we are temporarily between breakfast chefs. So in these circumstances we can only offer a continental breakfast. Take it or leave it." We decided to take it. "Continental breakfast," said Mum, as we sat at the table in the corner. "That's coffee and one of them cafeteria thingies and croissants, not this sort of rubbish." She flapped one of the limp slices of bread in the air. "There's no goodness in this." There were little packets of butter and pots of marmalade and sugar lumps, lots of lumps. I got busy crushing and sprinkling. I made myself a splendid sugar sandwich. Pippa tried to make herself one too, but she wasn't good at crushing the lumps. She tried bashing them hard on the table to make them shatter. "Pippa, give over, for goodness sake. Whatever are you doing?" said Mum, spooning cornflakes into Hank. "It's Elsa's fault. Pippa's just copying her," said Mac. "Here, give me that sugar bowl and stop messing around. You'll rot your teeth and just have empty gums by the time you're 12. I covered my teeth with my lips and made little gulpy noises to see what it would be like. I tried sucking at my sandwich to see if I'd still be able to eat without teeth. I swallowed before the lump in my mouth got soft enough and choked. "Elsa, look, do you have to show us all up?" Mum hissed. "Stop it," said Mac. "Otherwise you'll get as good smacking, see?" I saw. I was trying like anything to stop the choking. I got up, coughing and spluttering, and went over to the milk hatch to get myself some more milk. There was a big black lady with baby serving herself. I wondered if she might be Naomi's mum and asked her between coughs. She said she wasn't, but helpfully banged me on the back. I took a long drink of milk and peered all around the room, hoping to spot Naomi. There were old people and young people and lots of little kids, black people and white people and brown people and yellow people and quite quiet people and noisy people, but absolutely bawling babies. But I couldn't spot Naomi anywhere. Maybe she had her breakfast sitting in the wash basin in the ladies. I did spot one of the boys who'd been writing rude words all over the wall. He saw me looking at him and crossed his eyes and stuck out his tongue. I did likewise. "Elsa," Mum came and yanked me back to the table. "Don't you dare make faces like that." I pulled another face because I was getting fed up with everyone picking on me when it wasn't my fault. Then I saw a lovely lady with lots of little plats come into the breakfast room. She had 2 little boys with her, and she was carrying a toddler, and there was a girl following on behind, her head in a book. "Naomi," I yelled excitedly, jumping up. Mac was taking a large gulp of tea at that precise second. Somehow or other the tea sprayed all down his front. He didn't look too happy. I decided to dash over to Naomi, pretty sharpish. "Hi, Naomi. I've been looking out for you. Is this your mum? Are these your brothers?" I said hello to them all, and they smiled and said hello back. "Is that your dad over there? That man shouting at you?" said Naomi. "No fear," I said. "What are you reading then?" "Eh?" I had a quick peer. The cover said Little Women, and there was a picture of the 4 girls in old-fashioned frocks. "Little Women," I said, thinking it a rather naff title. "It's a lovely book, one of the classics," said Naomi's mum proudly. My Naomi is always reading it. "Boring," I mumbled, peering at the pages. The cursed werewolf seized the young maiden and ripped her to pieces with huge yellow teeth. "There's a werewolf in Little Woman," I said, astonished. "Shh," said Naomi, giving me a nudge. She turned her back so that her mum couldn't see and quickly lifted the dust jacket off the Little Woman. She had a different book entirely underneath. The cursed werewolf runs wild. "Ah," I said. I decided to like Naomi even more. I sat down at their table, even though Mac was bellowing fit to burst for me to come back at once or else. Naomi's little brothers looked utterly angelic above the table, all big eyes and smiley mouths. But they were conducting a violent kicking match out of sight. One of the kicks landed right on my kneecap. I gave a little scream, and both boys looked anxiously at their mum. I didn't tell any tales, but I seized hold of several skinny legs and tickled unmercifully. They screamed and doubled up. "Boy," said Naomi's mum, "stop messing about." She was trying to feed the baby, but she had kept fidgeting and turning his head away, not wanting his soggy old cornflakes. "Come on, Nathan," said Naomi's mum. Nathan shut his mouth tight and let cornflake mush dribble down his cheek. "How about feeding him like an aeroplane?" I suggested. "My baby brother Hank likes it when I do that. Here, I'll show you." I took the spoon, filled it with flakes, and then let my arm zoom through the air above Nathan's head. "Here's a loaded jumbo jet coming into land," I said, and made very loud aeroplane noises. Nathan opened his mouth in astonishment, and I shoved the spoon in quick. "Unloading bay in operation," I said, and I hooked the empty spoon from his gums. "Come on then, Nathan, gobble gobble, while I go looking for the next aeroplane. Hey, how about a Concorde this time?" Nathan chewed obediently while I reloaded the spoon and held it at the right Concorde angle. I revved up my sound system. Unfortunately, my dear non-relative Uncle Mac was revving up his own sound system. After one last bellow, he came charging like a bull across the breakfast room. I landed Concorde, unloaded the new cargo of cornflakes inside Nathan, and tried turning the spoon into a bomber plane with mega-quick whiz-bang missiles. Mac certainly exploded, but not in the way I wanted. "How dare you make this ridiculous noise and bother these poor people," he roared, yanking me up from the table. "Oh no, she's been no bother at all," said Naomi's mum quickly. "So Alice's your daughter, is she?" "No," I said. "No," Mac said. It was about the only thing we ever agreed on. "Alta is my stepdaughter," said Mac. He said the word step as if it was some disgusting swear word. "I've done my best to bring her up as if she was my own, but she just gets right out of hand sometimes." I wished I was out of hand at this precise moment. He was holding me by the shoulders, his fingers digging him hard. "Well, she's been a very good girl with us, helping me keep my family in order," said Naomi's mum. "Yes, she's got my baby brother Nathan to eat up all his cornflakes," said Naomi. "It's a pity she can't help out with her own brother," insisted then, said Mac. "Come on, Elsa, your mum needs you." He gave a jerk and a pull, and I had to go with him or I'd get my arm torn off. I looked back at Naomi. "The cursed werewolf," I mouthed, nodding back at Mac. Naomi nodded, grinning at me sympathetically. I need sympathy. Mac was in a foul mood. "What do you think you're doing, rushing around, yelling your head off?" he said. He yelled, rushing around. I could sense it wasn't quite the right time to point out that I was only following my stepdaddy's example. He got me sat back at our table and started giving me this right old lecture about learning to do as I was told. Pippa started fidgeting and shifting about on her chair as if she were the only one getting the lecture, not me. "I'm needing to go to the toilet," she announced. "Well, off you go then," said Mac. "I can't find it by myself," said Pippa. "I'll take her," I said, jumping at the chance. I clutched Pippa's hand and escaped the werewolf's copious curses. Some of the boys were back down the corridor, writing more rude words on the walls. An old lady with a hoover rounded a corner and saw what they were up to. "Here, you clean that off, you little vermins," she yelled, aiming her vacuum at them. They laughed and said the words to her. "Dirty beasts," said the hoover lady. She saw us gawping. "Cover your ears up, girls, and you better close your ears too. These little whatsits are desecrating this hotel. Blooming desecrating it, that's what they are." She banged up against the boys with the vacuum, running the suction nozzle up and down the nearest shell suit. "Get off, will you? My mum's only just bought this," he yelled indignantly. "I'm trying to clean you up, laddie. Get some of the dirt off you. Now clear off, the lot of you, or I'll fetch the manager." They straggled away while he held her vacuum aloft in victory. Pippa and I giggled. Mrs. Hoover followed us into the lady so she could have a quick smoke. "Dear, oh dear, this place will be the death of me," she said, lighting up. She tucked her ciggies and matched back in her pocket and flexed her legs in her baggy trousers. It used to be a really classy establishment back in the old days, a really nice business hotel. You could get fantastic tips and everyone spoke to you ever so pleasant. Now you just get a mouthful of abuse. They're all scum and stay here now. Absolute scum." She said this fiercely and then blinked a bit at me. "No offence meant, dearie. You seem very nice little girls, you and your sister." "Are we just a bit scummy round the edges then?" I said. "You are? Oh, give over." She drew on her cigarette, chuckling. "What scum?" said Pippa, emerging from the toilet and going to wash her hands. "That's scum," I said, wiping my finger round the edge of the grey basin. "Now, dear, don't shame me. I used to keep this place so clean you could eat your dinner out of one of them basins. But now I just lose heart, and the management's so mean. They keep cutting down the staff. How can I keep all this place spick and span, eh? Especially with my legs." She patted at her trousers and shook her head. Then she had another glance at her basin. "Look, that's a footprint, isn't it? Dear goodness, would you credit it? They're actually putting their feet in the basins now. I wonder who on earth that could be, I said, winking at Pippa. I know, said Pippa, not understanding my meaningful wink. No, you don't, I said quickly. Here, we could help you do a bit of the cleaning if you like, Pippa and me. I'm good at vacuuming, it's fun. I wasn't in a hurry to get back to the breakfast room, and Mac, I wanted him to cool down a bit first. So Mrs. Hoover sat stiffly on the stairs and did a bit of dusting, and Pippa pottered about with a dustpan and brush while I switched on the vacuum and sucked off all the dust on the shabby carpet. I kept imagining Mac was standing right in front of me. I'd charge at him and knock him flying, and then get out a really giant suction nozzle. I wouldn't just snag his shell suit. Oh no, I'd hoover him right out of existence. I was galloping along the corridor laughing fit to burst when the real Mac suddenly came round the corner. He didn't look very cool at all. He looked as if he might be very well at boiling point. What the heck are you playing at, Elsa? I'm not playing, I'm helping do the housework. Switch it off and don't answer me back like that, said Mac. We thought you'd both got lost. You'd been gone nearly half an hour. Didn't you realise you'd be worrying your mum, Elsa? I thought you didn't want me to answer you, said Mac. I said. Mac took a stop nearer to me, breathing fire. Don't be cross with the kiddie. She's been ever such a help, said Mrs. Hoover. She's got this carpet up a treat, I'm telling you. And the little one's been sweeping the stairs, haven't you, Pet? Yes, well, I'll thank you to mind your own business, said Mac, snatching Pippa up into his arms. You come with Daddy, Chuck. We've been worried sick, wondering what happened to you. Mum's been right up your room and back, thinking you'd gone up there. Max stomped round the corner, still clutching Pippa, and tripped right over the gang of giggling boys, writing more dirty words on the wall. Get out of my way, you kids, Mac thundered. Pippa peered at the words from her new vantage point. She stared at the worst word of all. She remembered. She had said it loudly and clearly. What did you say, Pippa? Said Max, so taken aback he nearly dropped her. So she said it again, unmistakably. I'm reading, Dad, she said proudly. The boys absolutely cracked up at this sniggering and spluttering. I'll wipe that smile off your silly faces, Max shouted, practically frothing at the mouth. How dare you write mucky words on the wall so that my little girl learns dirt like that? They stopped sniggering and started scattering, seeing that Mac meant business. Mac caught hold of one of them, the boy I'd make the face at. He was pulling faces again now, trying to wiggle free. It wasn't me that wrote that word honest, he yelled. It was her. He pointed to me. All his pals stopped and pointed to me too. Yes, it was that girl. That one with the hair. Yeah, that little girl with the loud voice. It looked like I was in big trouble. I was. I tried to explain, but Mac wouldn't listen. He hit, and I hurt. And that is the end of that chapter. Yes, it was quite a long one, guys, so we are going to stop there. The next chapter will be called Sweets for Treats, and that's on page 78. Thank you so much for listening. Until the next time, guys. Goodbye.